Hi, and welcome to Origin of Concepts. And in this episode, we will have a look at some of the Islamic myth. Well, I think they see it as like part of the Islamic dogma, in the teachings. But basically, it's all based on mythology. So, let's talk a little about the As-Sirat Bridge, which is the final walk you have to walk before you leave this world. The As-Sirat Bridge is an Islamic concept described in the Hadith as a bridge thinner than hair and sharper than a sword, spanning over Jahannam, the hellfire, to paradise on Judgment Day. Believers will cross swiftly based on their deeds, while the wicked fall into hell. It represents the final test of faith and accountability. So, you better be good or you will be eaten by the flames. And like many others, the Muslims also got inspired by the Milky Way Center. And it's right here. So let me explain how they got the inspiration to create this concept. First of all, the As-Sirat Bridge is an allegory based on the striped shadow in the Milky Way Center. And the hellfire is the red light from the golden disk light, also in the Milky Way Center. So let me start outlining the fiery hell pit here. And then we also got like a couple of mountains here. So, and then we got the bridge as thin as a hair. And it's so thin so you can't even see it. But it's here, in the center of the striped shadow. And maybe, only maybe, it will follow this thin shadow up here. And the reason why they use the allegory thin as a hair is because the striped shadow here is always the hair in the Milky Way, the divine hair. From Norse mythology into the Abrahamic religions to the Mesoamericans, ancient Egypt, China, you name it. This is the hair. If you hear the word or the term hair or anything related to hair, this is it. So now we got the bridge of hair, because the striped shadow is always the bridge in any ancient civilization or their cultures or their mythology, the bridge between the divine and mortal realm. And in this Islamic version, it's the bridge of hair. All right, enough hair. And then it's also sharper than a sword. And let me illustrate that for you. Now we just use the striped shadow here, because this is also the sword. And the blade of the sword is like the striped shadow is a crescent form. So this is the blade of the sword. And we could argue that this is the handle out here, because this is the hand in the sky holding the sword. But let's keep it simple. This is the bridge as sharp as a sword and thin as a hair. And all the people walking on the bridge is, of course, represented by the stripes here in the striped shadow. So they are walking over the on the hair on the bridge. The Johannam is described, the hell is described as a dark, vast, and roaring pit located below the paradise. And let me delete everything here and make the fiery pit once again. Here we got the hell. But there's more hidden in this words, so to speak, because a roaring pit, and the roaring is like the sound of the mouth. And for you who have seen my other videos, will know that the entire Milky Way center is the mouth here, and the roaring is the sound here coming out. It's the same as the bridge. So this is just, metaphors and unmetaphors. So here we got the roaring pit. And what else do we got here? Yes, and then of course the pit is located near the paradise. Jannah is the name for the Islamic paradise, which means garden or the hidden place or the hidden garden, which is of course an allegory of the entire what's inside here in the Milky Way center. This is the paradise. This is also Garden of Eden, with all the trees here, or maybe the big tree here with the crown, the tree of life, and you got all the waters, and the striped shadow is also the floods. So this is paradise. Okay, then we got the physical structure and characteristics of Jahannam, the hell, which is typically described as having 7 descending levels or gates. So 7 gates. That's something we hear in many other of the world myth. And the 7 gates is of course the 7 stripes here in the Milky Way center. This is also the levels in the duat in the Egypt afterlife or underworld. So here we got the levels or gates. Islamic literature describe hell as a living, monstrous entity that can roar, breathe, and speak. Okay, let's. It is often described as being blacker than tar. That's some black substance. I don't know, tar. Maybe like asphalt or something like that. So, and it's way hotter than any fire on earth. So let's break that down. Again, we have the raw breath and speak is again the mouth here. Here we got the great mouth. And here we got the striped shadow again, because this is the speech, it's the breath, and the roaring. So that's, everything coming out from the Milky Way center. Because, sound and the breath and speak, and, it was always seen as the connection between something manifesting into the mortal realm, so to speak. And this is the same road, it goes back when you go over the bridge. So this is both the creation starts here, you go into the mortal world, stay here for some while, and then you go back over the bridge. And then, of course, it's we got this allegory that it's 70 times hotter. Well, we just say it's way hotter than the fire on earth. So that means the fire we are speaking about here is not here on earth, And the only place we got fire in heaven is in the Milky Way center. The spirit here, spirit light from the golden disk, or the hot glowing coal or lava, the red disk light in the Milky Way center. Okay, what else do we got here? Johannam is described as enormous in size, with mountains, valleys, and oceans filled with disgusting fluids. Okay, let's find that. You already know where to find the mountains here, because the entire Milky Way center is the mountain of them all. So if you hear about mountains in mythology, it's here in front of you. And the valley is always the striped shadow here. That's the valley in the Milky Way center, because the water here from the lake or the Atlantic Ocean or the Mediterranean Sea, or whatever you like to call it, flows down through the striped shadow here. The Nile and the river, or the Euphrates and Tigris here, flowing together into the mortal realm. So that was the paradise one. No, that was the hell. And then we got the disgusting fluids, and I think you can guess where we find the disgusting fluids, because the yellow or red light in the Milky Way center is both the divine light, but when you want to speak evil of something, you can flip it, and then it will be like the plague, the bad semen, or all the bad things. And when the disk light flows into the striped shadow here, let me find another color, it will be like a muddy and stinky fluid. The mud, so to speak. The rotten mud. Okay, I think that's enough. Now you know where to find the As-Sirat Bridge. It's right here. The bridge between the mortal and the divine realms. And if you go there, watch out, you don't fall into the pit here. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, take care. See ya. Bye.